Make sure you check that out. That is on until Monday. Now I'm going to be introducing our third faction out of 4. These guys are so evidently important that they couldn't even just send players our way. We've got casters as well. Company of Heroes 2, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be popping by here. And I've got AE and Stormless here to basically introduce what they're going to be doing for the next hour. How's it going, guys? You all right?
It's going very, very well
cool.
today.
Take a seat. You've been standing up for ages. You had a good lunch? Everything ready? You good to go for the stream?
Much like preparing for war, we're fully prepared and raring to go, aren't we, Dan?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really looking forward to this. Been looking forward to it all week. We got 2 of the most amazing players in this game that have ever been in the franchise. It's going to be really, really good show today.
All right, so talk to me about, I'm going to challenge you here. Talk to me about some of the casual people who might actually be tuning into the stream. Maybe some people even looking at Company of Heroes 2 for the first time, saying it's great that we have some of the best players in the world playing this game, but for someone who's just coming in and maybe doesn't understand all the nuances, what's the big takeaway from the game that they're going to walk away with today?
Company of Heroes 2 is a deep game. You can come in at any level. You can play with your friends against AI. You can play 4v4 casually. However, the depth, the strategical and tactical depth to this game goes to extents that other games can barely even dream of.
Yeah, it really does work on so many levels. Like, you really do have like the basic tier. You can go in with a couple of basic units, a really standard build, but if you're a really advanced player, you can access those commanders we see a little less of. They've got some really intricate abilities and units and just things that require a little more micro, so it's accessible to all tier levels. Yeah.
Now, without knowing exactly what the players are going to be doing for us today, is there anything in particular that you're dying to see or you would love to just see them execute?
Well, these guys, because it's very strategically deep, we've got 2 very diverse players today. We've got Helping Hands, who's a very tactical player. He's about prepared position. He'll get AT guns and MGs overlapping, snipers in the back, mortars firing. It's got so many multifacets. And then you've got Love Nest. He's a very calculated player, but he can be very aggressive when he needs to be. He can pick his moment and pick his opponents apart.
How about you, Stormless? Anything in particular you're looking forward to?
These guys are a classic matchup. We've cast these guys a lot of times before, so I'm really hoping some of the usual aspects pop up, because there's really interesting kind of, it's almost like mini games within the game,
yeah.
you know, sniper battles, the cover elements in this game, like stealth, you know, it's so tense when you're watching these 2 like within range and how they do it. So I don't want to throw any spoilers out there. We're prepared for everything, but there are so many possibilities that can go. It's really down to those 2 to throw the curveballs today.
Big marketing ploy from Relic for this particular franchise was every game tells a story, and that wasn't just spiel, that's true, and we're going to show you that right now today.
All right, well, I'm going to let you guys and the players, of course, unravel that story so that we can watch it live on stream. It sounds like it's going to be amazing. Guys, take it away, introduce our players, and I will see you at the end of the hour.
Fantastic, thank you for introducing us.
Okay, catch you in a bit, guys. Good luck. See you soon.
Thanks.
Okay, and without further ado, let's bring down our first player. His name is James Helping Hands Whiteside.
Hello, everyone.
Now, James, just how long have you been part of this game for now?
I've been playing the Company Heroes 2 series since 2006. Got into competitively probably around 2011. I just was playing with my friends, and I just loved to win, and I just kept on playing, and then I went into tournaments and did very well.
So that is there, every tier of the game. Everybody starts casually. It's such a great game to play, such good atmosphere, but then you can come and you've won some pretty big tournaments recently, hasn't
Well,
he?
Hans had, of course, one of the biggest stories during the ESL season that ran. Hans, you just rose your first big, huge tournament win on ESL. The last moment, you really left it. And the whole community just rallied behind you, this huge story. So you've got like your own huge moment in the game.
Very good, obvious segue to the next player in a movie.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so with the ESL story, I won the first Kickoff Cup. And the matches after that, I just couldn't seem to clinch victory. But in the final big one for the March monthly ESL Company Heroes 2 Championship, I managed to win the big one. So
yes.
I was really, and it's my first ever big win, and I'm really
now,
excited for that.
Allow us to introduce the person he won the big one against. It's Love Nest, the man himself. The German giant is here.
What's up, guys?
Understated as ever. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Love Nest.
Hi, my name is Stefan. I'm going to go by the name of Love Nest in CoH2. I'm relatively new to the franchise. I joined CoH2 when it was in beta stage. And Yeah, I've played in tournaments ever since. I'm hooked. CoH2 is a very unique game, and I'm glad to be playing today as part of the Make War Not Love event, and I'm looking forward to the game.
Speaking of which, the Make War Love event, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully everybody who's watching right now, we need all the support to make sure that we win this. There's DLC on the line, I believe, as well for this. So we need to make sure we get as many concurrent viewers on the stream as possible. So go and tell your family, your friends, if your grandmother loves, you know, she wants to relive the World War II
Former
experience.
gerbils, future lovers, ex-housemate. Get everybody you know. Steam, go on CoH2.org, Reddit, Twitter, Facebook. Get everybody into the stream right now because we specialize in one thing, Dan, in Company Heroes, and what is that?
It's warfare.
Warfare, and this is Make Love Not War, so we should win this, and it's our birthright.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolutely great game, and you guys, you're absolutely fantastic players. Your rivals, this is a grudge match. You guys were the final part of ESL, so hopefully we get to see another amazing game like that. It's always a pleasure casting both of you.
So I think it's about time to get yourselves set up and reared and ready to go.
All right, let's do this.
Let's do this, come on. We're excited, aren't we, Dan? We're geared.
I am really excited for this, yeah. And also just for the setup, like the setup here is so good.
Oh, it's fantastic.
You know, got a nice little casting corner.
Is this esports? I'm pinching myself right now. I pinched you first, but
It's always esports here. No one pulls any punches, you know that.
Oh, indeed. I think that's about time to segue to the players.
Are we good to move over to the casting?
We're going to need these until we come back. So where should I leave them? Leave them back there?
Are we ready? Yeah, it should be good. Oh man, you ready? You ready to do this?
It's a leg space.
Okay, are we gonna? When do we start? Now? Yeah, right, let's go. Let's start the match now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got no leg room. It's gonna be interesting.
I can do all this. No, Carl's going to hold it.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be Kyle Relic, isn't it?
When you're ready, just start talking, apparently.
Okay, we're getting ready for this. It's looking good. Waiting for the game. We've got the game. The map today, Dan.
Yeah, this map's going to be Faymanville Approach, which is one of the community favorites voted in. It's a really good map. Lots of strategic cutoffs, a lot of opportunities here for resource denial. You know, you can go straight up the center of this map, do a lot of damage, or you can play a very nice game, control the left and right. You're going to see some good strategies here.
Great thing about coming here is the resource system. You've got fuel, munitions, manpower, population cap. Time, of course, the unknown resource. This is real-time strategy. And straight away we see Loveness versus Helping Hands. Loveness starting as a Soviet faction.
Yep, and of course Helping Hands, the Oster, and he's straight in with the Ostroupen. We love this. This is his real, you know, pinnacle of Helping Hands commander here. And you notice both players straight in with the doctrines. They are not messing around at all. These are predefined strategies.
Mechanized support tactics as well. So we've got heavy armor late game versus a light infantry early game. Mobility versus something that packs a punch. What's going to win in this dynamic?
It's a really tough one, to be honest. I'm really hoping that we get to see Oster maybe on the tier 3. If Hands can get that out early, we might see a really good push against the Soviets. Light vehicles, pretty guaranteed to see those. They're very flexible on a map like this. But let's have a look at the direction, you know, the way that the map is going to play out here. So Loveness just trying to cap a couple of territories close to his base. Hands a little bit more spread out. The Ostroupen can kind of go and dominate all of those buildings.
Map control. And of course, you've got the sniper metagame. The players today are using a massive composition of different units that have such different roles. Some of their RTSs, they tend to be somewhat about grouping and macro. Company Heroes 2 has a lot more micro, that's in a tactical level. Snipers, mortars, machine guns, infantry interact in such various diverse ways.
Yeah, we're really going to see a true blessing of a game here. This is all support-based as well, so there's lots and lots of support units on the field right now. The snipers, they're already getting into a first engagement, and there we go. One of Love Nest snipers does go down, and these are high reinforcement costs.
Glass cannon units, the sniper, does a lot of damage, but you have to babysit it. You have to be very careful. Everything on a razor edge with the sharpshooters.
Yeah, it really is. And we see Helping Hands here paying great attention to the map detail. You can actually negate the cover that your opponent has by, placing wire across all of the areas of the map that provide good cover. So this is great strategy already from these guys. They want to make sure that as little benefit is as possible as they climb across the field.
Of course, the cover mechanics, one of the USPs of the Company of Heroes franchise. It's fantastic. And here we go. We've got the M3 with the Flamer going straight for that high-value sniper priority unit.
That's going to be a huge loss for Hands. It does go down. That is an important loss, and more importantly, an important win for Love Nest straight away. His sniper now can really get to work on all of those support weapons of the Austere.
The MG is in a strong point, but it's also a weak point, because when you've got mobility and you've got flame weaponry, you can get through a garrison, you can destroy a unit and take advantage. That is tactical play, and it's zenith.
Yeah, this is really nice. Helping Hands has gone for the tier 1, so he does have Faust for the scout car. That's now engine damage, but he has managed to... actually, he's going to go for the treat, so this is going to be very easily repaired by Love Nest. And this is the thing with Tier 1. Tier 1, when you build this as Soviets, is very slow. So you do obviously see Helping Hands with a lot of map control, but the idea is that the Soviets get to bring out some really strong units, and you'll start to see this, creep back up on the map. The blue color is going to be shifting right towards Hands' base.
Two mechanics on display there. First of all, we've got the retreat, manpower preservation, live to fight another day. It's all about keeping what you've got, maintaining veterancy and gaining experience. So even if you're losing right now, you can build your army and you can come back and make it back. But Helping Hands, Dan, just showing the KD there, he's not in a great position.
No, I mean, Ostrypen is very tough because these units are very, very weak. The benefits are very quick to reinforce. You can take great map control early on, which is exactly what we saw. The problem is that when you're facing up against those tier 1 Soviet builds, they start to lose engagements very, very quickly. So, this is, at the moment, it's Love Nest's game to lose.
Love Nest's game to lose, but if you don't close the game out in Company of Heroes 2, you allow your opponent back in, and that's why it makes it such an interesting competitive spectacle. You have to do everything right, or your opponent's going to be back to bite you.
Here comes the counter to the scout car. It's another scout car, this time from the Austere, and with the upgrade 222 cannon. It's beautiful. He should be able to take down the scout car now. Main gun destroyed. Shouldn't make too much difference anyway, but there we go. That is kind of the engagement you expect there.
And look at the beautiful model there, Dan. Look at the animations. Look at the graphics. This game has aged very well. For 2013 release, we're here in 2017. This looks a lot better than a lot of the RTSs on display here at PC Gamer Weekender, in my opinion.
Yeah, one of the best things about this game is actually its cinematic value, because you really do just get a sense that World War, you dive straight into it. Everything's so beautiful. We'll make a special effort to look at some of the animations, the explosions, but it's such a stunning game. And even if you are an entry-level player, you really just get this awesome sense of what the game's all about. So.
It's a gritty thing as well. It's not a realistic game by any stretch of the imagination, but it's an authentic game. It gives you a little microcosm, a little chunk of World War II, the biggest human conflict ever, throws you into it and says, try and survive if you can.
Yeah, really beautiful. We just check out some of the animations there from the mortar, trying to pummel the conscripts off of the central VP. And maybe we should just explain a little bit about multiplayer mechanics here. So these guys, 250 VPs. These are the stars on the map currently. And players are fighting to control those VPs to decrease these tickers at the top. And once you get your opponent down to 0, that is game. So these are very important focus points on the map that these players will be fighting for.
Makes games a hell of a lot more interesting when you've got something to fight for, when the map is split up. And that's where map makers come in. They make these games sometimes very interesting arena battles. If it's just who kills the most, that's not necessarily interesting. In this case, it's about strategical and tactical control. Also,
Yeah, it's very, very much about the strategic, but also the micro engagements are probably one of the most important thing of this game. The way that the comeback mechanic is that even if you have less on the field, you can out-micro your opponent in engagements, which is just such a huge thing to be able to do. So even on the back foot, comebacks in this game are all over the place. You never have a dead, easy game situation. It is always possible for that comeback.
Let's talk a little bit more about some of the units on display right now. We've seen a mortar shot is the Guards Battalion. Oh, but let's cut to the 222. It's found the sniper. Will Helping Hands be able to make his way back into this game and do to what he did to him earlier on?
Yeah, not able to do it. Loveness, very good teching here to the 18 aids. This is going to stop the scout car from pushing up close to that sniper. Loveness positioning with the sniper has been fantastic this game. It's always been in good cover, protected well by the conscripts. So it's really difficult for the 222 to see effect in countering the sniper at this point. But it will get its veterancy too. That's increased vision, so it becomes a very good unit for spotting for the austere late game vehicles.
The sniper is one of those hero units. It's company of heroes. It's not just one hero like MOBA. In this game, you have an entire army that have potential to become heroes. They gain veterancy. That sniper's got 10 kills, and he's still survived. He's seen some stuff in this war, and he's still here. So he's got character now assimilated to him.
Yeah, we're going to see Lovenest go. He's already jumped into Tier 3. He's going to be going for that early light vehicle, the T-70, about to arrive on the field in just a second, and that's going to spell the end for the scout car. This is a direct counter to the mobile presence of Tier 2 Austere. So Hans' strategy about to get picked apart here, really, by Lovenest, and we're going to have to see kind of how Helping Hands decides to counter it.
Helping Hands might need a helping hand very shortly because the T-70 is on the field. I have, yes, for the new people, been using that joke for around 6 years now.
You are getting a little bit routine with the with some of the commentary, but it's okay.
It's a new audience. It can be recycled, surely.
I kind of agree with you on that one. Yeah, but here we go. T-70, and as you can see, cosmetics, aesthetics in this game, absolutely beautiful. The physics is probably some of the best of any RTS I've seen, and that's really what's kept me in it for so long.
All these pioneers going to have to stay in it because the T-70 is an infantry shredding machine. It has a distinct role, and that role is to destroy as many individual men as it can.
It can, yeah. And seeing the Minesweepers upgrade on these Pioneers, that's a little bit of a sign to Lovenest that he needs to be careful of mines. A Telemine will wipe this unit pretty much instantly, so he needs to be very, very careful now. He's seen that. It's a little bit of a telltale that mines have been laid, and that's going to make it difficult for the T-70 to get its full mobile map. Clean up.
Keep waxing lyrical, there's yet another feature of Company of Heroes. It's the psychological warfare. You've got stealth, you've got mines, you've got the things that can't be seen but could be there. Are they there? It becomes like poker at times.
Yeah, it really does. Watch this sniper micro from Lovenest. He's trying to get the maximum range possible so he doesn't get any counter fire from these Ostroupen. He's pretty soon going to turn around and start picking off those units. And sniper is a great thing against the Austere because Austere typically 4-man squads. Ostroupen help that a little bit with the 6, but they are just so weak as the game goes on. You really have to make that early game use of them and then kind of drop them a little bit. They're pretty much only good for Fausting at the later stages.
Other than the shock value of an engineer with a flamethrower and a scout car, usually the best counter to a sniper is another sniper, and that's exactly what Helping Hands is missing out on right now.
Hands here. He's trying to get that T-70. He managed to get the engine damage with a Faust. He's now trying to chase it down with the AT gun, and Lovenest is going to have to be a little bit careful here. I think Hands lining up for a ground attack shot. He may be able to get it. He gets one shot off. T-70's very close to going down here. It's a really key unit for Lovenest right now.
All skill, using mechanics of the game that beginner players would not even know existed. That's why at the high level it really begins to open up in some ways. He's actually attack grounding beyond his vision right now based on the sounds in the game, trying to feel for where the T-70 was getting repaired based on the blowtorches. He clicks attack ground and tries to kill it beyond the fog of war.
Hands knows this is his moment with the scout car. It's not an easy engagement to win, but if he can take this T-70 down, he's easily going to be able to be in an advantage position. T-70, I think, the main gun destroyed. He's not going to be able to counter this. Now he's got to rely on the guards to do the final kill, but they're not in position.
Razor's Edge moment. 222 wins out. Will it be able to get back home? Now it's scalped. The T-70 killed the more dangerous anti-vehicle. Has it survived?
It's really open at the moment. These guards could manage to cut off the retreat path. Hans is being careful. I mean, this unit is now going to be able to give his later game units really, really good vision. It's absolutely essential, but that was a huge move. It was a bit of a risky play, but here we go. This is it. The guards are going to be able to cut this off. He's able to use button as well with the upgrade. Actually, sorry, he hasn't got the upgrade, so he won't be able to button, but PTRSs have to connect here. One more shot, manages to
Behind the
use
side
line of
blocker.
sight.
Fog of War and show Fog of War. It's true sight enabled. This game has dynamic Fog of War, so if he's behind a bush, you cannot see him, and the guards could not see the scout car. It got away scot-free.
Yeah, that was really, really good reverse micro from Hans there, because if one of those PTRSs had trapped just a little bit quicker, that would have easily done the damage to destroy the scout car. But just have a look at the kind of map control that Lovenest has got at the moment. This is really good, and with a very slow early game, you start to see, the kind of, the conscript builds with the support, the guards, like how powerful it can be. Lovenest has gone with another T70. I'm not sure about this decision because he's having to match up against potential tier 3 from Hans now. We're going to start to
Hans
see.
has a lot of fuel. So going across the resources at the bottom, the first is manpower. That gives you the ability to get units on the field. Then you've got munitions, the ability to use grenades, possibly artillery, then fuel. That's how you buy the vehicles, the big boys, the things that can really win you games.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. I wonder if Lovenest is going to stick on the tier 3 Soviets and then go into that ISU. It's possible, but the ISU can, it's a fixed turret. It can be flanked, and Hans, as we've just seen, is very good at predicting when to flank. So that would be a bit of a weird engagement for Lovenest if he does decide to go for that. But no sign of the tier 3 from Hans yet. Let's see, he's escalating to battle phase 2 now. Yes, we're going to see that tier 3 hopefully soon.
The teching structure, the build orders, it all tells a story for people that have played this game for a long time. But if you're new to this series, check out the fan sites, check out Relic's forum, look for the tech trees. It's always interesting to me as an RTS fan when you get to see all the units, all the possible little goodies you could deploy as your army. Very cool to see.
Let's have a little bit of a look at the statistics so far. Helping Hand starting to claw it back a little bit, but to have such a positive KD with the Soviets is very, very hard.
Snipers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the sniper doing absolutely huge work. Currently 32 of those kills from that one unit. So what great value. That's paid for itself a couple of times over at least already.
Hero of the Soviet Union, Dan. He's paid for himself 4 times over that sniper. And that's the pure value of having a sniper that's uncontested by a counter-sniper.
Well, we have to really look to Hans here for some kind of comeback. He's about to come up against the Su-76. And again, still no sign of that tier 3, so maybe he's going to decide to tech up one more time, go for tier 4. Panther would be very, very good for him in the late game, but he's going to start missing out because he's just losing on the teching front right now.
And of course, making these players play today on 250 victory points, half the amount they'd usually have, because obviously we want to try and get as much action as we can for you. So currently, Helping Hands is on 55 and dropping. He has a triple cap against him right now, which is meaning it's how many ticks per second, Dan?
Well, VP drain, if you hold 3 VPs, it's 1 every single second. So that means less than a minute if all 3 VPs are held by Lovenest. But Helping Hands is really focusing on that. You can see right now he's trying to spread out and take 2. That's going to give him a little bit of time to get those medium tier vehicles in and push back. But he's very, very much in a difficult situation right now.
Hans has got to think fast, act quickly, and act decisively. You can come back in Company of Heroes. You can make big plays. We've got some epic replays in this community, massive casts that have had such great stories. 55-minute wins in ESL, for example, for players that looked on the brink of destruction.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things is that games do go on for a long time here just because of that. As long as you're the type of person that doesn't give up, you always have that little bit of a chance. And hopefully we get to see that from Hans. We've seen him have some pretty big games before where he's done this kind of thing, but his loadout is a little bit not equipped to deal with this.
Not right now it isn't, unless he's got time, but time's one thing he doesn't seem to have. So it looks like he may have to come back into the late game. A demo trap has been laid there. What's a demo trap, Dan?
Well, the demo charge is absolutely beastly kind of trap in this game. It is clickable detonate by the player, so if Hans doesn't minesweep that over there, he may get caught off with a squad, and it's near guaranteed that squad will be completely wiped.
The Panzer Faust goes in, handheld anti-tank from the infantry. It's made the Su-76 an idle target. The 222's already going in for the sniper also. Simultaneous action from Helping Hands, a master of this game.
Yeah, that was an interesting one because the sniper, obviously, with so many kills, is a high-value target. But now he's going to try and go back around the Su-76 fixed turret. Rear armor shots will do a little bit more damage, but the guards managed to get a shot on the scout car there, taking down Hans' only vehicle
Feel
in the
that
game.
loss. That I grieve for that Zweihundsfanzig scout car, Dan. Just to butcher German for my German fans out there. And we're now down to 0 VPs. Helping Hands is out of the game.
Yeah, that was a really strong performance from Loveness there. Great use of the Tier 2, Tier 3 build. Hans, look at the just getting Tier 3 now. 15 minutes into the game. Very hard to get the Austere light vehicles
It needs to be
up.
said for Wehrmacht, they are a late game faction. They try and survive until they can get their big, heavy Tiger tanks out. So making Helping Hands play today, 250 victory points, a little bit of a disadvantage, would you say, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the late game is really important for Axis. Typical of the war, when you roll in those big tanks, the Axis really are superior in those elements. So it's going to be a difficult one for the Axis in general with this setup. But yeah, I mean, a really, really good performance there from both players. I think we're going to move on to another game, is that right?
Second game, that's right. We've got an hour of Sega's time today. We're going to make the most use of it we can do.
No, do we just go straight away? Yeah? I'm just watching the stream right now. I don't know if
Yeah. A big thanks to the community manager for Company of Heroes, by the way.
He's got a fantastic right arm. The biceps in his right arm are fantastic. Because we didn't have a mic stand and Dan had to control the camera, so Kyle, our community manager, has been holding a microphone for the past 20 minutes. So big thanks to Kyle there.
We're going to give him a little bit of a rest now, just until the next game. But yeah, I mean, what a great game to start up on. And the good thing is that with this format at the moment, they're obviously rushing. They get the resources to build the build that they want straight away. Now, the interesting thing, Hans's Ostrupen strategy is very, very good in live auto match. It works very well against the British faction, for instance, but we're talking about high resources here. So instantly, Loveness can field all the counters straight away, and that's definitely one of the things that played against Hans in that game.
Where was Helping Hands' luck in that game? I just couldn't find it. I don't think he could find it. And of course, it is an Essence engine. And there is something called random number generation in this game, although it is a true test of skill, and the best players have been at the top of this game for a very long time. There are those random elements, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, it's designed to be a very immersive and realistic experience. So you do have that kind of, things do go wrong. Your AT gunners they're not gods. They don't hit every single shot, and you don't control that. So there are the occasional things where you have to factor in real life situation. The game has progressed a hell of a lot. I mean, bear in mind what we started with. We had blizzards in the game.
Yes.
Moments where everything would freeze over and you had to keep your squad units
cinematically
warm. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it got changed, but it was a really good mechanic.
It was a good mechanic cinematically. The game is now very much geared to a competitive mindset, increasingly year on year, because we are the guys still standing in this community, and we're playing it competitively. There's still a great active player base, so if you buy Company of Heroes right now, I guarantee you'll have a game. 4v4, 3v3, 2v2, you're going to find a game, and if not, you can play with your buddies and destroy the computer as many times as you want to. Very cheap on Steam as well, recently done.
That's true, actually, for the Make War Not Love event. I think it's 75% off at the moment. That's really good, actually. But
I'd buy that for $1.
AE, ever the shill. But let's get back to some of the gameplay here. So, of course, on high resource, we've already got one CP. Hand straight away, Stormtroopers from the Elite Troops Doctrine. He's using the building spawn to make sure he gets on those VPs early. He does not want to let the VP drain go down, as he did in the last game. And you can have a look at these commanders here and kind of what you get from each commander. So you can load in with a variety of these. You get a selection of 3 to choose from. Pick the one you want. This one bears witness to the mighty Tiger Ace, the Vet 3 Beast, which can really just absolutely change a game at last minute.
17 command points, though, required. Command points are the experience you get, gives you the ability to field your units in the command structure. It's about pacing. This game starts with early base units. You've got little bits of infantry, you've got scouting units, then it builds to medium armor, and then on until heavy armor.
Yeah, and you probably won't get to see a lot of the heavy armor here due to the VP. So in Auto Match, typically we have 500 VP games. Obviously, the players have agreed to showcase some of the factions at a lower VP count. But that probably means you won't get to see the Tiger Ace here, which in essence is that maybe they should have played in the cheat mod.
They could have done that. Would have been interesting. I am 1-0 in cheat mod competition with my co-caster. Very interesting there. We saw the sniper on hold fire. That alludes to the psychological meta game. You've got a sniper sniper, you put him on hold fire. Obviously not now, Caster's cursed. He has about to be found out by the...
by the stormtroopers. Yeah, I mean, the sniper is a really fragile game because if you know your opponent has a sniper, you're absolutely relying on that counter snipe. Soviets get it a little bit easier thanks to the two-man team design. Obviously, there's a little bit of fire rate differences. Every one of those units has its own values, but great play from Hans there, great sense. He now knows Love Nest has the sniper. Hans is going to have to be very careful with his own.
Big shout out to the Winter Balance Patch mod team right now. The Relic have now entrusted the balance upon the community because, let's face it, we know better than they do, don't we, boys? And it's going well. We've got some very interesting changes coming out. It should be released in March because, of course, it is the Winter Balance Patch. And it's looking very cool indeed. Very big thanks to Kyle again for organising that, and Relic for giving us the opportunity to really change some of the unit stats, try and make it a little bit more delicately poised in certain areas. Very cool to see.
It's absolutely lovely that we're still adjusting the game this far in.
4 years in.
Yeah, it's been really good because obviously when the meta sets in, that's when you get a real sense of how to make things a little bit fresher. So really have done a lot of good work on that. Let's have a look at Hans' positioning here. This is dangerous for him because if he reveals a single shot, I think he's just seen Love Nest sniper there. This is a very fragile game right here. He's going to take his first shot. One of the models goes down. He's straight back into hiding.
So the dynamic of the snipers, they have to stick to cover. You see that little icon over their head? That indicates they're within cover, that little shield icon. Then they can be cloaked. They can pick their moment and fire a shot, but then they have to get the hell out of dodge very quickly indeed because they're revealed and the counter sniper can be upon them.
Yeah, we should probably explain as well for people who are interested in some of the mechanics of this game, the kind of true sight and also the way that the cover mechanics work. Even if you've got one model that's out of the cover, like it's ultra realistic. This model here probably has cover, these two don't. So even though the squad may show the medium cover symbol, it's actually only the one that is benefiting from that cover. So positioning in this game, absolutely vital. And that's why it kind of caters to the higher tier. If you're an entry-level player, you'll have great success with all of these units, but it's really the top players who know absolutely the correct positioning, and the way to make these units work effectively that will dominate the leaderboards.
It's for any techno people out there or people into FPS gaming in particular, the thing that sets Company of Heroes apart from other RTSs is the fact that it's based on a first-person shooter engine. All of it's simulated vaguely, very similar to like an Unreal. It's the Unreal engine, heavily modified, the Essence engine. So directionality matters. Where your individual models within a squad, where they are in physical terms, actually matters. It's very deep in that sense.
Well, this is a difficult one for Hans again. I mean, he's had a lot of trouble with his sniper again. Love Nest really kind of like superior in that element there. After that nice little first pick-off, he's dealing the manpower damage pretty heavily. Again, they've kind of mirrored each other's builds, which is nice. I noticed I've probably been calling Love Nest Hans at the start of this, actually, due to the first game and its shortness. But it's actually Love Nest who's gone in with the elite troop commanders, so sorry about that.
No, it's all right. Mistakes can happen, and mistakes are happening again for helping Hans. But do you think he was a little bit ill before this today? He was looking peaky, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I mean,
Shall we let him off? The MG's in a difficult position here, Dan. We've got the M3 with the combat engine. It's possibly about to swap with the Flamer. It's probably upgrading as we speak.
You can actually see that. No, nothing at the moment. So he's actually just going to hop out, try to get the MG, but actually the G43 upgraded Grenadiers are going to be able to protect that. And that's, again, like really, really important. Lovely by Love Nest, by the way, with the Stormtroopers there, just waiting for the sniper to uncloak so he can get them with the STGs.
Couldn't help with that mortar round, though. Stopped them in their stride. He's recrewed the MG. So support weapons, it's all about trying to keep hold of the weaponry. The individual models are more or less expendable. You've got to keep that weaponry on the battlefield and stop your opponent from stealing it from you.
Yeah, there's a lot of... we see a lot of mechanics like that you can really make use of, and one of the best ones, of course, is that weapons can be dropped. Some of the units that drop their weapons, when you recrew those, you can get some absolute great combinations with units that really shouldn't be holding weapons, Let's just take, for instance, conscripts. Vet 2, 40% accuracy bonus. They pick up an LMG for those Grenadiers. They're a beastly unit to behold.
When we get a Vet 3 unit that's picked up weaponry it shouldn't have, it's known as a Terminator squad.
Absolutely. Look at this strategy from Love Nest. He's cloaking these units here, waiting for his victims to come in so that he can just open fire and annihilate them.
There's the dynamics. See, as a model flies into the sky. He was not meant for this world. He wanted the space program.
Yep, that's the old physics there from the wells popping in. It's one of the more beautiful things in the game.
It doesn't affect gameplay, but you do occasionally get a little bit of a relic from the Essence engine there popping up. Aptly named.
Well, look at these guys. Hans, again, down to 170 VPs at the moment. He hasn't been winning well on the VP games. Loveness has had much better control of those, and that's really starting to show. It's going to come down to a win pretty quickly if Hans doesn't get a control of the situation. He needs to find some way of pushing out. He's gone with the guard motor, so T-3485s, it's actually possible to get them fairly early on, before the 15-minute mark. Last game was 15 minutes. This one, hopefully will go a little bit longer.
Could be seeing a bit of armor from the Redina there. Interestingly, you can catch Helping Hands and Love Nest playing in King of the Hill, a community-organized event, next Sunday on twitch.tv/Stormless. That's the caster to my left right now. We cast it together. Players play on to winner stays on format, basically. Also, you can catch these two great players. They played in ESL in really big finals against each other. That's YouTube. What's my YouTube.com/AECOH. You can cast some of the biggest games there. But right now, we're watching this game done.
Here we go, Loveness once again with that sniper, trying to line up for the kill. Hans a little more wise to the situation now, who is just trying to avoid it at all costs. Can't really find any cover positions for him to get back into this fight with the sniper. Very risky if he does, because obviously if the Ostis sniper has its veterancy 1, it does unlock incendiary rounds, which means he can actually wipe both models. You may see it here.
Oh, he's got him with a double tap kill!
That was absolutely beautiful. You couldn't call it a better time as well. He was waiting for that veterancy to pop and used it absolutely perfectly, the quickfire ability. So Hans even more on the back foot now.
I think he's so far on the back foot, Comrade Stalin's probably ordering to take not one step back because he's pretty much in his base sector.
Here we go, Hans going in with the dive for the scout car, once again realizing the importance of the sniper from Love. There's the vehicle abandoned.
Oh, it's Christmas Day.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why you do not dive alone. If you dive alone in this game, your vehicle has a chance of just decrewing itself, and then it can be repaired and recrewed by your opponents. You don't be giving away vehicles like that.
Do not dive alone, of course. Common mantra in the cave diving community. In this sense, it means don't give your opponent a vehicle that you don't want them to have.
I mean, we've seen all sorts of things happen in this game related to that. I mean, we have seen things as big as King Tigers get decrewed before. I don't think I've ever seen one recaptured, but I've definitely seen Sturm Tigers recaptured.
And that's one of the balancing aspects of Company of Heroes. It's not a game about blobbing and just throwing all your units in a big, incoherent force. It's about thought, and a bit of grey matter does tend to come in this game, and it does make it a lot more interesting to cast at times.
Helping Hands, trying to mimic Love Nest's build a little bit from the last game. The T-70 is on the field now. It's late at 10 minutes, but it may be able to help clear up some of these units. Love Nest at the moment, I haven't seen any mines go down. There's certainly no AT at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, this is a good chance for the T-70 to actually get a bit of a footing in the game. Gone a little bit too close to those Grenadiers there. Takes a Faust. Should be able to be beneficial in the engagement still, though.
It is better late than never for a T-70. That's what I always say. You can get it in situations. You can wipe squads. It's all situational. A unit that's as well balanced as a T-70, Kappa, can be in position to make good use of itself at any point in the game.
We're going to see Loveness here. He's popping on Tactical Assault with the STGs. They open up on the guards. This is going to be absolutely brutal. Watch the health of these units go down. Hans has to realize this now and hit the retreat button, which is very good timing there, but that is such a strong ability, the tactical advance.
It's fantastic, and he's got those STG, the Sturmgewehrs. One of the early assault rifles from Second World War for those military nerds out there. They based pretty much the AK-47 on it.
Yeah, they're absolutely beautiful weapons, and the squad gets 4 of them, which is just absolutely
well, 3 beautiful. Of them now. Possibly 2. Oh, they live to fight another day.
Yeah, the chase mechanic is difficult here because Hans, there may be mines here and he hasn't swept that area yet, so he does have to be careful that the T-70 doesn't go down to a mine. Lovenest has managed to bring on the Panzer IV, so I mean, finally we get to see some of the larger units that come into this game. This is a medium one, so there's ones, they're much bigger than this, much more dramatic than this, but this is the Panzer IV variety, and this is going to absolutely shred this T-70.
The skin it's wearing is one of the many things you can buy in the Steam store for this game. Small prices, but for cosmetic items, and it really adds a bit of flavor to your game. And in this case, the flavor being added to the C-70 is impending death.
This is a good engagement here. Lovenest trying to block the path of the T-70. And of course, these units have less accuracy on the moves, so Helping Hands is going to have a little bit of a situation here, but he's trying to
he's
traverse
surviving!
the
He's got around
turret.
the garrison! Ring of roses, and it seems like he's going to not fall down in this case. He survived. Will the Panzer IV track him, though, Dan? He's just about got a line of sight. He gets him!
Yeah, that was really nice. I believe he used, no, he didn't. I don't know what he used. I think it was the hold fire to make sure that he focused down on that T-70. The guards weren't enough anti-tank in order to keep that Panzer IV at bay. That's a very good play from Lovenest.
It was a gigantic play from both players. Demo wiping coming.
Yes! We love to see those. No minesweeping going on from Hans at the moment on that left side. So Lovenest just... Oh, sorry, I'm calling them the wrong names again.
Lovenest's unit, it seemed to disintegrate a little bit. It was little bits of them all over the screen. I'm sure he probably understood the situation very quickly and had very short words to say about it.
Yeah, it's very weird casting games of this short length because for me, Oster is still Hans right now, and you just need to correct me on that when I do that.
Yeah, Helping Hands, he's doing all right. He could play this game, but unfortunately for him, he has one thing against him, and that's father time. 39 victory points and dropping.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult one to come back from. He's got the tier 3 up, no sign of tier 4, so we're not going to get to see those lovely T-3485s that could really change this engagement. Lovenest is going to be getting a Stug as well, and that's pretty much going to close the game, I think.
One of the holy trinity of tier 3 for the Wehrmacht or the Austere, whatever you want to call them, the Stug. It's a fixed turret assault gun, but we all know it killed more tanks than men, so it's a really good vehicle to be bringing on. It's a World War II fanboys vehicle, Stug life.
And again, more great tactics from Lovenest. He's making sure he caps the point. That one, he is actually sitting in cover whilst capping, so he can actually deny the cap when this mortar tries to come in there. But he's just surprising Hans at every opportunity. Hans does not have the kind of stealth detection or the minesweepers to really see these things. So here we go, probably going to see another...
However, we've got the stormtroopers waiting. And it's about to be the conscripts commiserating. No, they get out of the grenade. Very quick reaction from Hans. He may be poorly. He may not be winning today, but he's still got the micro.
Yeah, it's been a very, very difficult game for Hans on this one. Obviously with high resources, and this is not how they would normally play, they are just kind of experiencing these new style of timings. And
he's thrown in the towel. He didn't want any more. Well, he had it thrown in for him because, of course, it was 0 VPs. I was caught off guard there.
It's so quick. The games are so quick like this.
Without further ado, let's cast some banter from the two players here as we go back to the studio.
All right.
How long was that game?
50 minutes in the first one.
Man, I got to win game. Come on. Oh. It's not going well. Is that it? We no more. Is that what? Oh, God.
Are we still...
Hello and welcome back. We just saw some excellent action from the Western Front there with the Soviets. We had Lovenest and Helping Hands. They're currently shaking hands. That's our community. We're a mature community. We're not toxic. We're nice guys. One nice guy I've got in front of me right now is Stefan or Lovenest.
Yeah,
What did you think about that?
Actually, I kind of like the 250 VP setup. And
It looked like you liked it.
The high resources. I mean, there's action straight off the bat. I kind of like this because usually it's more of a slow approach and the first engagements are very carefully done. But this is like a little bit more messy and like a bit fast-paced than usual. And I don't know, I kind of like the change of pace.
And now for something completely different.
What can I say? The first game, I think nerves got the better of me, to be honest. I totally lost like 3 or 4 units straight away, and I wasn't paying attention or something. I was just trying to get used to the mouse and keyboard because it's not my own. I'm going to use this excuse, right? And that's my excuse. The mouse and keyboard is not my own. It's not mechanical keyboard.
We will give you guys a bit of a pass because that's not the format that is usually played in competitive. But I mean, Ostrupen, you know, when Lovenest is able to just rush out guards straight away, like that was the first unit that came on. Filthy play against the Ostrupens. Win-to-win engagements, but
I think we've got to thank the players for playing today on short notice in a rather controlled environment of just guys just try and kill each other as much as you can and make it entertaining as possible. So thank you to the 2 players today. That was fantastic. Hopefully you've enjoyed it on stream. Hopefully our concurrent viewers have absolutely smashed the composition. I want to hear a good battle report after this.
yeah, I think it'd be nice to actually check out Twitch as well and just see everyone laughing at me at calling you guys the wrong names, actually.
So thank you for that today, everybody, for watching us, and thank you for supporting Company Heroes 2. Cracking game out there. If you're not convinced quite yet, I don't know what else to say at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great game. Go and try it out. It's up on show at the moment, somewhere in amidst Dawn of War. But Dawn of War, you know, we're going to beat those guys easily. The Make War Not Love events.
Yeah, they're new.
Have always been, you know, Company Heroes. We
They're
come
new,
out.
they're babies. They've, you know, a lot of their games coming out soon. La la la. We're grizzled war veterans. It's a different approach.
But yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for everybody who's been tuning in as well. That was Company of Heroes 2, World War II RTS, Absolute Warfare. Great games from you guys. Thanks very much for playing. And thank you, Sega, for putting on the event.
Always wanted to do this in the esports, the awkward handshake.
Well played, guys. Well played. Good job.
We're now truly DreamHack. There you go.